Robert De Niro. When Robert De Niro took on Raging Bull, he set the standard for body transformations in Hollywood. He didn't just play Jake LaMotta, he became him, gaining and losing weight on cue, a level of dedication that made the performance historic. But those physical shifts sparked decades of speculation. How did he bulk and cut so quickly? Industry whispers connected him to performance enhancers, and when you study the timeline of his body, the side effects match. In Taxi Driver, De Niro was wiry, vascular, sharp-jawed, a picture of lean intensity.
But who the hell else are you talking? Talking to me? Well, I'm the only one here.
By the late 80s and 90s, his face carried the telltale puffiness associated with water retention, a common result of steroid cycles. His skin tone changed too, shifting from taut and dry to a softer, almost swollen texture that cameras can't hide. Steroids drive up blood pressure, which is why the older De Niro often appeared with that red-faced flush during public appearances. Cardiovascular strain doesn't just stay invisible. It shows in posture, in slower movements, in the stiffness of joints. Steroids wreak havoc on connective tissue, making tendons brittle even as muscles balloon. Actors like De Niro, who committed to radical roles, felt that toll off-screen. What the audience praised as dedication was also, very possibly, the accelerated breakdown of a body under chemical pressure. Every Oscar came with a shadow cost.
That it means anything to and the rest of the world, and especially all the terrible things that are happening, and I love everyone.
Aching joints, compromised circulation, and an aging curve that looked harsher than nature alone. De Niro became the face of method acting, but method bodies often come with medical bills that never stop adding up. Mark Ruffalo. Mark Ruffalo never needed to sculpt the Hulk's muscles. CGI did the work. But even without packing on size, Ruffalo's real health struggles underline the risks steroids pose to actors who try to mimic comic book physiques. In the early 2000s, Ruffalo was diagnosed with a brain tumor that required surgery. While his case wasn't steroid-related, it opened the conversation about how fragile the brain is under chemical assault. Anabolic steroids are notorious for raising the risk of cerebral edema, fluid swelling in the brain that mimics tumor symptoms. Migraines, dizziness, memory lapses, mood swings, even seizures can follow. Steroids don't just enlarge muscles, they alter how blood and cerebrospinal fluids circulate, creating pressure inside the skull that can permanently damage brain function. Psychologically, steroid cycles amplify depression, anxiety, and even suicidal ideation when the body crashes. The Hulk's rage on screen becomes eerily similar to the roid rage experienced off-screen by users trapped in the hormone loop. Ruffalo's career is a reminder that health collapses can strike even without enhancers. But in Hollywood, where younger actors are pushed into impossible timelines, steroids often become the shortcut. Ruffalo represents the warning. If the brain can be rocked by natural conditions, steroids magnify that risk tenfold. The mind is just as vulnerable as the muscles, and when chemical cycles flood the system, the damage doesn't stop at the body, it rewrites the brain itself. Chris Evans. Chris Evans' transformation from an average young actor in Not Another Teen Movie to the chiseled Captain America shocked fans. The body he revealed in the first Avenger looked carved out of granite, with full round shoulders, a tight waist, and veins crisscrossing his arms. Natural or not, the timeline raised questions. To achieve that kind of mass and leanness in just months usually requires chemical assistance. Steroids accelerate protein synthesis, allowing muscle tissue to grow at speeds impossible through diet and training alone. But the hidden cost is brutal. The testes shrink because natural testosterone production shuts down, leaving fertility at risk. The liver works overtime, filtering toxic compounds that scar its tissue and elevate enzymes to dangerous levels. Acne outbreaks erupt across the shoulders, chest, and jawline, only hidden on camera through makeup. And when cycles end, the hormone crash brings depression, fatigue, and a sense of weakness that can last for months. Evans's problem wasn't unique. Every actor who steps into a superhero suit faces the pressure of audience expectations. Marvel fans didn't want an ordinary Chris Evans. They wanted Captain America forever.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Steroids make that body possible, but they also make it unsustainable. Each cycle digs a deeper hole for organs, bones, and mental stability. Behind the shield, the smile, and the heroic speeches, the biology breaks down. Steroids deliver the body that sells tickets, but they also write a silent script inside the actor. low sperm counts, scarred livers, fragile bones, and a mind caught in chemical whiplash. Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf's career has been marked by talent and turbulence, a combination often amplified by his unpredictable behavior. During his more physically demanding roles, fans noticed his fluctuating body size, bulking for films, then appearing leaner and gaunt in between. That kind of rapid cycling suggests short bursts of steroid use. Steroids can give an actor a fuller look for the duration of a shoot, but they also wreak havoc on the mind. LaBeouf's public meltdowns, fights, arrests, bizarre outbursts line up with the psychological toll of anabolic use. Roid rage is no myth. Hormones spike aggression, shorten tempers, and create paranoia. Sleep vanishes, leaving users restless and reactive. Then comes the crash, depression, withdrawal, feelings of emptiness when cycles end. Physically, LaBeouf displayed the telltale signs too: acne scars across the jawline, sudden changes in vascularity, a fuller frame that melted away when filming wrapped. The pressure of Hollywood only deepens the trap. Directors demand quick transformations. Audiences scrutinize every angle of the body. LaBeouf's volatility can't be blamed solely on steroids, but their fingerprints are hard to ignore. Steroids don't just build muscle, they magnify personality, amplifying intensity into chaos. For an actor already known for extremes, the chemical push made his off-screen life play out like a cautionary tale. Sylvester Stallone. Sylvester Stallone was caught with HGH and anabolic steroids while traveling in Australia, confirming what many had suspected for decades. His career was built on muscle, Rocky, Rambo, the unstoppable action hero. But the body that inspired millions carried obvious side effects. His jawline widened, his face puffed, and his midsection developed the telltale HGH gut. Intestines and organs pushed outward by growth hormone, even when body fat stayed low. Injuries piled up. Torn shoulders, ruptured tendons, surgeries stacking one after another. Steroids make muscles grow, but tendons can't keep up, creating a body strong in appearance but fragile in function. Stallone often spoke of his chronic pain, and fans could see the stiffness in his movement. Long-term steroid use also slams the cardiovascular system, raising blood pressure and thickening arteries. Every fight montage came with an invisible opponent: heart disease. Stallone's longevity in Hollywood hides the truth. Years of medical management, surgeries, and hormone therapy behind the scenes. He became a symbol of resilience on screen, but off-screen, steroids left him dependent on doctors to hold together a body worn thin by decades of chemical cycles. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger is the rare icon who openly admitted to steroid use during his bodybuilding days.
In 8 or 9, 10 weeks before competition, it's not a healthy thing to do, but it's being used.
Did you take them?
I took them, yeah.
His honesty set him apart, but his health history revealed the long-term costs. Arnold underwent multiple heart surgeries, including valve replacements, a likely consequence of cardiovascular strain compounded by steroid cycles in his youth. Steroids alter cholesterol levels, clog arteries, and thicken the heart muscle itself, making it less efficient. Liver damage was another risk he openly acknowledged. The golden era physiques of Arnold and his peers were built on compounds that left permanent internal scars. But Arnold's story also highlights the psychological addiction to size. Even as he transitioned into movies, then politics, he remained committed to the bodybuilder aesthetic, training like a competitor decades past his prime. That drive often reflects steroid dependency. The mind can't let go of the chemically inflated image. Arnold built an empire off steroids, but he also paid the price: chronic health management, surgical interventions, and a legacy forever tied to enhancement. The Terminator was marketed as invincible, but the man behind it proved that steroids eventually terminate the body from within. Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman's Wolverine became a cultural icon, but each transformation looked more extreme than the last. From the first X-Men film to Logan, his body grew harder, leaner, and more vascular. Insiders pointed to steroids paired with dehydration tactics, dropping water weight to reveal every muscle fiber. But that approach punishes the kidneys, forcing them to filter toxins while starved of hydration. Long-term, it leads to scarring, chronic fatigue, and permanent renal damage. Jackman publicly battled skin cancer, a condition made worse by suppressed immune function, another steroid side effect. Steroids don't just attack organs, they accelerate visible decline. Hollow cheeks, dark under-eye circles, and brittle joints creep in behind the superhero facade. The pressure to outdo himself each time amplified the risk. Fans expected Wolverine to look harder with every sequel, pushing Jackman into cycles that strained his body past safe limits. The heroic physique on screen masked the biological crash happening off camera: pain, exhaustion, and organs absorbing irreversible punishment. Wolverine healed instantly in the comics. Jackman, like any human, paid the cost of trying to live that illusion. Dwayne Johnson. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is perhaps the modern face of Hollywood's steroid conversation. He admits to experimenting in his youth, but denies current use. Yet his evolving physique tells a story. His jawline broadened, a common sign of growth hormone. His frame stayed cartoonishly large into his 50s, with vascularity and density that defy natural aging. Steroid and HGH use create this look, but also bring side effects Johnson himself has hinted at: sleep apnea from enlarged soft tissue, high blood pressure, and joint pain. Behind the charisma and catchphrases lies the same biology as every other user. Steroids thicken blood, raising the risk of heart attack. They suppress natural hormone production, leaving users dependent on chemical support for life. They accelerate aging internally, even as they maintain the illusion of youth externally. Johnson is a brand. His body sells films, energy drinks, and workout programs. But brands don't show weakness, even when bodies break. The Rock represents the modern steroid paradox: larger-than-life figures who inspire millions while privately facing the same side effects that humbled every user before them. The audience sees invincibility. The reality is fragility wrapped in muscle. Across Hollywood and sports, the story never changes. Steroids build gods for the screen, then reduce them to patients behind closed doors. Swollen faces, scarred organs, broken minds, and careers cut short. The real side effects are the collapse that follows every shortcut. And don't forget to subscribe, or these bad effects may reach you as well.